Today I'm going to go over what I think is probably the hardest flighted shot to hit for most average players, and that is hitting the ball high. I think for most average players, kind of flighting the ball down is probably a little bit easier, and it's more consistent in the fact that it's more consistent. Hitting it higher, I think for average players, tends to be a little bit more inconsistent. And the key with hitting it higher is that we've got to make sure that when we're at impact, our spine is tilted away from the target. And this is where the inconsistencies for average players falls when we start trying to hit it higher. Because what will happen is we set up to it, we take it back, and then because we're trying to get the ball up in the air, we throw our shoulders and our spine backwards to try to loft it up in the air. The only issue with that is that when you do that, your low point moves further behind the ball, okay? And that's when we either hit it fat or thin it. So, and then I guess the other options are, if we actually do time it out, we hit into it, the face is open, we add so much loft that it basically just goes up in the air, goes to the right, and goes nowhere after that. So even though we're hitting it high, we still want it to project out. So how are we going to do this? Now, as a high ball hitter, I don't normally have an issue with hitting it high, except if I'm going over a tree. My issues are going lower. But needless to say, if you are somebody who wants to try to hit it high, this is how we're going to do it. First, I'm going to put it a little bit more forward in my stance than I normally do. I'm still going to I'm going to make sure I have some tilt in my spine. I'm going to go ahead and set my spine tilted. Still going to turn back just like I normally do. Just like when we are talking about hitting it, flighting it lower, getting into that left side. I still want to get in that left side. Even though we're trying to get the ball up in the air, we still need to have leverage. We still need to have a pivot in that front foot so it's projecting the ball. Again, we want it to go high and out, not up and then down. So I've got to make sure I get my lead leg set and pivoted. Now, here's the key. When I have it up, and why this left leg is so important is if when I'm trying to hit it higher, I will try and just keep my chest stable. I'm not going to try and lean backwards. I'm not going to try and then throw my hips. I'm not going to do any of that. My sternum, when I turn back, I'm going to try to keep it in this place as long as I possibly can. So I turn back. I'm going to set that lead leg, keeping my chest stable, which will then, because I'm shifting into my front foot, my hips are now shifting, which is actually tilting my spine away from the ball. Then I'm going to turn just like I normally would, and by maintaining this stability in my chest position, you can see that now I've got extreme tilt away from the target line, which is going to help me hit more up on it. I'm not going to hit as far down, and my attack angle isn't going to be as down, but it's going to be more up. Not only that, but because I've shifted, I've got my momentum going forward, so when this club comes in, yes, it's going to launch it higher, but I'm still going to project it out. And as you can see here, I have maximum spine tilt away from the target, which is going to allow me to hit it up in the air. Like I said, I have kind of a higher ball flight to begin with, so I'm going to try and get this launch to be somewhere in the 21, 22 degrees, which would be quite a bit for a 7-iron. So again, a little bit forward. I'm going to tilt just a little bit. I'm going to make my same backswing. I'm just going to make sure that I'm going to keep my chest stable as I allow that lead leg to set, get leverage, pivot, and release it, then come through well after. So if I look here at my Launch monitor, I hit it with a launch angle of 21.6. So right there, I got that. That's what I wanted, kind of in that 21 to 22 area. Attack angle, -2.8. So I'm still hitting down even though the ball went up. Apex, 127, so that's a little bit higher than I normally do. Ball speed was still there. Club head speed was still there. Everything was still there. So to be able to hit it higher without sacrificing too much distance and to be consistent with it and not bring in fats and thins and the like is one, we're going to put the ball slightly forward. We're going to tilt just a slight bit more than we normally would on a shot away from the target with our spine. Make our same backswing. Really emphasize getting that left leg planted or that lead leg planted, keeping my sternum stable and in place. And then we're just going to keep driving and rotating off that lead leg through the ball, which will help us to launch it higher without falling backwards or opening in the face too much, just sitting it up in the air and having it come down. I hope this video helps in you hitting it higher, more consistently, and more effectively. If you have any other questions, please reach out. I've got my email below. Check out my website. Check out my landing page. And I look forward to seeing you again on another video.